Hello, good morning. My name is Terry Samuels from Salterra Digital Services, SEO Spring Training and SEO University. Today we're going to continue on with our little mini-series about internal linking and siloing your website. And today's topic is about blog posting. Blog posting is actually one of my favorite things to do. It has been for years. Just nowadays, it's affordable. When we were blogging a couple years ago, and paying for content or had content writers on staff, content wasn't very affordable, especially the way it is compared to today. And then comes along AI, ChatGPT, and everything else. And now we can produce content, very good content, at a pretty good rate, pretty good clip. So nowadays, when we're blogging and doing our content plans and everything for our clients, or whether it's for our clients or for us or for one of our lead gens or whatever, then we're looking nowadays at clusters. So before, when we were just writing content to write content, it was more of a task complete, so to speak, for my client, saying, hey, we did the 4 blogs a month we promised you, without much thought or intent or what the purpose of these blogs were. So nowadays we write in clusters. So let's take, for instance, cool sculpting. So if I wanted to write and if I wanted to rank some different variables around the cool sculpting power page, then I would write some supporting content about that in blog posts. And, I would go out and I would look at people also ask. I've got a tool to do that. I'd also use ChatGPT. We track queries in Search Console. We track all kinds of ways people find our pages and what they use and how they search for those results. And so we'll put clusters together. So let's say, for instance, we put a cluster together for cool sculpting, and we're going to do cool sculpting cost. We're going to do cool sculpting for the stomach. We're going to do cool sculpting for the chin. We're going to do, is cool sculpting safe? How many sessions do I need to have? So on and so forth. We're going to take all these questions people have and all these queries people use, and we're going to turn them into content. And we're going to interlink all this content together. So, if we're talking about the cost of cool sculpting on one article and the next one's going to be, is cool sculpting safe? Then we're going to interlink those two together. We're also going to interlink both of those and all of them to the power page. So think of it like a hub within a spoke or a hub of a wheel. The center of the hub is the power page. The spokes are the supporting content. So when you go and you prepare to write this way and decide how you're going to do this, interlinking these things together is key. So when you start looking at the different topics and how you're going to interlink, you want to make sure that you interlink with anchor texts that are related to that topic of the page they're linking to, like I've mentioned before. So if you're on the page and you're talking about, is cool sculpting safe, and then within that you talk about a different body part or a different, maybe you're talking about the abdomen for cool sculpting, and then you interlink that over to the abdomen page. So, you're interlinking everything together, and then you're interlinking good anchor text to the power page, so to speak. So, one of the reasons we like doing clusters is because it's very hard for one page to take and rank for hundreds of keyword terms, okay? Especially if one page, your power page is, 600, 800, 1,000 words, you're really only going to be able to rank for a certain number of terms with that content. You'll get some other rankings through backlinking and all that other stuff that we do. But when you start writing in clusters, now you start ranking for more and more terms for that page because you're writing supporting content, interlinking that power page. So when you look at doing blog posts, make sure you have a plan. Make sure you sit down and say, okay, if we're going to write these 4 blog posts, 6 blog posts, 10 blog posts, whatever, for this product or service, make sure you have a plan of how you're going to interlink them together. Make sure you have a good anchor text plan of how you're going to interlink them to the power page. And then just make sure you keep the cluster together. So if you do versus content, like cool sculpting versus warm sculpting, that wouldn't be typical inside that cluster because now you've created a separate mini cluster. So you want to make sure that if you're going for cool sculpting and that's the power page you're going for, obviously you don't want to start bringing in warm sculpting. So you can do versus content a different way, just outside the cluster. So think about your blog posts, think about the strategy for them. Don't just create them just because you promised your client you would create a certain number every single month. They can be very, very, very powerful. And when you start writing this way, and then you start looking at building backlinks, now you can start building backlinks to your supporting pages instead of backlinks to your power page, and risking your power page getting hit or negatively affected from a backlink. So once you start doing clusters this way and writing this way, you'll really start coming up with some pretty cool ideas of what you can do with this, especially when you start creating clusters around certain topics to dominate that topic as much as possible. So anyways, that's today's lesson for internal linking and siloing around blog posts. Stay tuned for the next one, and I look forward to hearing from you. Please let me know what you think of these videos. Let me know if these are helping. Let me know if there's something I can do different. I do like doing this mini content, so to speak, and answer all your questions. Please reach out if you have any, and have a wonderful day.